Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news is a major WE star set to return at WrestleMania 39.
Rey Mysterio considered retiring at this year's WrestleMania.
FTR have made a game-changing announcement on their future.
And I'm going to tell you Adam Cole's big AEW comeback opponent. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
This is an I. This is the news.
Oh, we are going to kick this thing off. Actually, it's weird that we put that in the background. I poked my eyeball trying to take my contact lens out last night.
Oh, yeah, I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, that's why I to feel a certain kinship with Rey Mysterio at the moment. Anyway, yes, major WWE star returning at WrestleMania. Who could that be? Randy Orton. There you go. I didn't even build that up, did I? I just went, yeah.
It's Randy Orton. You probably saw this on Twitter maybe yesterday.
Yeah, PW Insider with the report. WWE are bringing him to Los Angeles for Mania weekend. So he'll probably be at the shows. Now, there's no word on whether or not he'll feature on screen or if he will re-enter storylines, but nonetheless, that's some positive news from a guy who's been very injured lately. He hasn't wrestled since May, when him and Riddle dropped the Raw titles in that unification match with the Usos. It was announced after that he'd have to miss the whole rest of the year because he had back problems. We've seen photos of him like from a hospital bed in surgery and stuff, selfies, that's why I went like that. And there was a report like a few months ago stating that WWE are worried he might never return. It's that serious. So yeah, clearly a very big problem for Randy Orton physically. But there have been some rumblings recently. PW Insider reported last week as well that there'd been some like whispers of Orton for the first time in a while. So yeah, seems like he's on the comeback trail. Interestingly, his partner Riddle is obviously off TV at the moment as well, but that's a different scenario. He entered rehab, of course, and he's understood to have completed that program, but he's not returned to TV since December was when he took time off. 2 wellness policy violations, I understand. But yes, it'd be good to have Randy back, and yeah.
Yeah, great news this. Always nice to hear that, especially when you hear stuff like, they may never wrestle again. You suddenly think, oh, I wish I'd have known that so I could appreciate when he was heading towards his final matches. But yeah, great to hear him coming back. He's been away, so obviously that's my secret to making me miss you. And the other thing is, I will say this, if this story came out 2 years ago, I'd be upset that his career was ending and then happy that it wasn't, but I'd also be like,
Yeah.
But I thought his pairing with Riddle really sort of showed me another side of Randy Orton, and I hope that's what we see more of when he comes back. And yeah, any old twat getting an RKO around WrestleMania is all right by me.
Yeah, like the Riddle stuff was genuinely great, and it was really over as well.
Yeah.
So like he was doing some of the best work of his like this stage of his career. So it'd be nice to have him back. Hope he's doing well. Hope Riddle's doing well after the rehab and everything as well. Yeah.
Ooh,
Randy Orton.
I was just about to say there as well. I was thinking, what's he going to do when he comes back? And I was like, I don't really want him, doing world title stuff. But there is a story to be told with him and Cody, of course. So
a legacy story. Yeah.
But,
get Ted DiBiase. Oh, that might be difficult, actually. Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Rey Mysterio apparently considered retiring at this year's WrestleMania. It's that brilliant tag team again, Andy Murray.
Yeah.
Give Me Sport and WrestleVotes coming through with this report.
Teaming and beaming.
Yeah, he at one point had set his heart on hanging up his boots after this year's WrestleMania. But it's not going to happen, despite, of course, him heading into the Hall of Fame this year, more than deserved. And probably, let's be honest, even though he's denied it every possible opportunity, probably fighting his son over WrestleMania weekend. And apparently this feud with ex-con Dom has, quote, kind of reinvigorated Rey Mysterio. And he's changed his mind basically about retiring, which I'm really happy about because I'm not ready for his career to be over just yet. And I sense there's more than one match in his feud with his son.
Yeah, you'd think so. I'm glad that he's not retiring because he's still awesome. So that's the main thing for me.
He's better than I remember from about 12 years ago or something.
Yeah, that's it. Like, obviously, age takes certain things away. So, it's not quite like late 90s, mid-90s WCW Ray, obviously, but like this version of him is really great.
Yeah.
So I hope he stays around for as long as physically he wants to and is able to. So there you go.
Yeah, and I'm sure that a lot of people in that locker room are learning a lot from him. Because he's such a legendary individual and a lovely bloke as well.
Yeah.
Although a bit of a deadbeat dad.
Yeah, total deadbeat dad. Complete loser. Never done anything good in his life.
No.
Obviously. We hate Rey Mysterio. He's tremendous.
Former WWE champion for, about that long.
About as long as it takes to brew that kettle that's boiling that I can hear for the wall. Paper.
Oh, there's enough water in there for me.
Yeah, there better be. Otherwise, I'm going to do some choke slams. FTR. I'm not going to do any choke slams. Who am I kidding? I might choke slam.
We'll do it together.
Choke slam probably right now. Yeah, that was
you're going to pay for that, brother.
Oh, God, he's on the coke. Right, FTR, they made a big announcement on their future on last night's Dynamite.
What a pair of workers.
Yeah, little scamps. So they've been back, technically, in AEW's kind of universe. That's a cursed word, because that's the WWE word. Sphere. Galaxy. I don't know. Whatever.
That's what Cool Hand Ange calls it, isn't it? The Galaxy, yeah.
They've been back since Revolution, when they accosted the Guns, beat them up. Dax got busted open.
I'm about to say, goodness, that's nice that for once they didn't get busted open.
Dax did the John Moxley impression and got busted open in half a minute.
Get in between the ropes.
Yeah. Oh, a better blade. He bladed at the house show, Moxley. I love
Why
him.
am I not surprised?
I love him so much. It's so extra. But yes, they confronted the Guns again last night. The Guns had just defeated Top Flight with the help of the Kingdom to retain the AEW World Tag Team titles. The FTR came out and were like, hey, we want a title shot. If we lose to you, we will never challenge again. And the Guns were like, nah. So then they were like, hey, we will split up if we lose to you. And then they were like, nah, there's nothing you can say.
It's good stuff from Austin and Colton.
It was. They're doing a really good job as like rat heels. And then they were like, okay, we'll leave AEW if we lose. And then they were like, okay,
deal.
So the date hasn't been set, but obviously FTR's contracts are up in April. So this is kind of like storylining that just a little bit. It's good because it means that if FTR do lose, they put a team over on the way out, which is the old school way, and they're old school guys. And that's like a nice little write-off. Or they win and they stay. And like people who enjoy them in AEW, myself included, are happy.
Yeah, exactly. You and I have talked about this quite recently. I can't remember in relation to who. And you always say, I don't really like it when it's the... if I lose, then I'll, maybe not. Like, certain stipulations are fine, but a lot of them, it's like, oh, cool. So you're obviously winning because
when you know they've signed,
But this plays with real life quite interestingly.
Definitely,
because I was thinking, what are they going to? As he was going through it, I was like, there's nothing. He's like, there's nothing you can offer me. And then I was like, why didn't we think of that? Yeah, really clever stuff. This and considering how bloody workers there are. I'm putting it to the photo of a drink I've got with a WWE contract there. I expect more of this shenanigans to happen in the next few weeks. So we'll probably. My prediction right now, Andy, is in the next few weeks we're going to reporting on a either a tweet that is subsequently deleted by Dax, for example, or someone's Twitter likes.
Can't wait, man.
Because that's what happens nowadays.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah. Let's talk about Adam Cole, baby. That's right.
Adam Scholl, baby. Shout outs to Fishing Clash.
Yeah. It's time for story time with Adam Wilborn, baby. And the story is Adam Cole came out on last night's Dynamite to say, I'm bloody excited about wrestling again next week, especially because it's been, I can't believe this, I said this in the office to you today, June since we last saw Adam Cole wrestle. That was, of course, at Forbidden Door, which I thought no one cared about because no one knew anything was going on there.
Didn't do any. That's the thing, man. Like yesterday, it's amazing.
From you
really amazing that they sold all those tickets for Forbidden Door 2 yesterday because we haven't had a single vignette about this door. Like, who is this door? Why should I care about this door? Like, what is the door's gimmick? What is the door's alignment? What is the door's favorite pizza topping? What is the door's opinion on filter versus espresso coffee? It's disgusting how AEW thinks they can get away with booking this door without doing vignettes on it.
Yeah, and the thing was as well in last night's main event, I think I saw Hamflet tweet about this. It was just great to see that audience who obviously had no idea who El Hijo del Vikingo was, just sitting on their hands the whole time.
Yeah, they were so baffled, man.
Like,
you hear those chants. This is confusing.
Yeah, please stop wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know you. Why should I? Yeah, it's almost like Twitter's not real.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Adam Cole, baby. We last saw him at Forbidden Door in that four-way with Okada, Page, and White. But he was out last night to be like, the All Access. But also, my first match back. Great. Who's it going to be against? And he was interrupted by none other than the JAS's Daniel Garcia, who mocked Adam Cole's storytime catchphrase. I'd never do something like that. Put himself over for beating the likes of Brody King and Bryan Danielson, and basically said, "You're crap now. I'm better than you. I'll fight you. And Adam Cole went, you're an idiot for doing this challenge. Let's go, baby. Great opponent. Really excited for this.
Adam Cole said, you want some, I'll give it you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only thing I was disappointed was, Andy, AEW teased it was going to be Goldberg. And
Yeah, AEW promised me it was going to be Mercedes Moné.
I invented in my
It
head.
wasn't her.
Yeah, they were going to bring back Andre the Giant, and he was going to wrestle him next week, and that didn't happen, so now I'm angry.
Yeah, where's Manu, man? This is falling apart. Speaking of legacy. Yeah, so like that's the thing, isn't it? I think in this era of discourse, when there is like a surprise or like an unnamed opponent or whatever, a lot of people immediately jump to like a return or a debut or whatever, and not just a really sick wrestler like Daniel Garcia. So I think this rules. It'll be a really great match. Garcia's like a really perfect like character to wrestle him because his JAS character is so mouthy and like he's so like fake as well. I beat Brody Jericho beat Brody. You know, it's like it's perfect stuff, and he's also a great wrestler and he'll have a great match. So
I liked his moment as well. I forgot to mention where he went to say sports entertainer and said wrestler basically.
Yeah,
and
that's
then went,
like
oh no, I've got it wrong.
the mask slipping a little bit. It's good stuff.
You know what you are, Daniel. Go back to it. He's in a bit of a piece as well in that leather jacket.
He's a good-looking man. Both of them are good-looking men, man. But like, it's nice to see Adam Cole back.
Yes.
He's just one of the good guys, and yeah, he was injured. Was it a concussion he suffered wrestling Samoa Joe in the Owen?
Good point. Yeah.
Or something like he got hurt in that match, had to sit a few weeks out, and then he got hurt in the IWGP title match. That's rubbish.
The stories he was talking about as well when he described it, I was like, bloody hell. And it'd be
Flipping
nice to see him as a
hell.
baby face for a while as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, really excited for that next week.
Baby face.
Nice.
Kick my ass, man.
You've been hanging around with me too much there.
I'm gonna eat the eel.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions. At WhatCulture WWE, of course, if you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Mark Smith, who says, morning, boys. Should Gunther lose the IC belt without being pinned, triple threat, of course, at Mania, and go on to win a world title without losing? In WWE's eyes, Walter is a different person, right?
Different beast.
Granted, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good idea because, like, the whole thing about losing upwards, right? He's going to drop this title so he can go into the next one. That creates problems because if you want to do it credibly, you then have to give them a few more wins after they've lost that title to justify giving a guy who's just lost a secondary belt a run at the main one. Although that never stopped Vince McMahon, obviously,
Granted,
in the past.
yeah.
But Triple H is a bit smarter with his booking. So, yeah, this would be a good way to do that. If you want to put Gunther, in the world title scene sooner rather than later, yeah, you could absolutely do this. My preference, it remains, he wins at the pay-per-view here by pinning Drew, and Sheamus, like maybe Sheamus like had it in the bag and Gunther throws him out of the ring and pins him or something heelish, and then Sheamus beats Gunther one-on-one, and you close that story. So Sheamus gets proper closure, and then you spend like 6 months building Gunther up for the big one.
Via a win over Brock Lesnar, please.
Yeah. There we go. And Jake Paul. Not Jake Paul, the other one.
Logan Paul.
Actually, nah. Like I watched it.
I'd love to see someone beat the shit out of Jake Paul, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It's going to be KSI. I'm down with my YouTube feuds.
I watched some YouTube video. Like it was like a series. CoffeeZilla was the account that made them.
I've watched them.
Yeah.
Or him, I should say.
He did a video, like a series of videos on this Logan Paul zoo crypto thing or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I don't understand any of these things, but it seems quite bad. So
Yeah, turns out Logan Paul's a bad dude outside of the ring as well.
He's a pretty good wrestler.
Yeah, very good.
It's like,
That
that doesn't forgive him,
No.
obviously.
Bartman 1002, probably more likely B Hartman 1002 here, gives us our second question today. Good luck with this one, Andy. Good morning, gents. I apologise if this is sacrilegious, but would it be fair to call Renee Paquette this generation's Mean Gene Okerlund?
Wow. Okay. So, lofty historical comparison, obviously. I'm always quite reticent to throw comparison. Well, I think it's important to give people their flowers while they're still active. I'm always reticent to like draw the benchmarks when someone is still rolling and still cooking. That being said, if there is someone who is the closest to Gene Okerlund that we have today, it's probably Renee, because she's great at her job.
Yeah.
And the thing with like Mean Gene for me is such a unique dude, because like I love that man so much. He's a really important part of my childhood growing up watching wrestling. And also, like, legitimately, aside from his skill as a broadcaster, my favorite thing about him is when he would crack. So, like, when the SummerSlam sign falls back and he's like, F it and all this. Or when...
the Windjammers one as well.
Yeah, when David Schultz is doing that stupid promo, I went, I was looking for like this really problematic promo. And Mean Gene's just like, what the hell? Like, crazy.
Oh, Dave, where are we going here?
What's the matter with you, Gene? Like, he was so funny. But yeah, I think Renee's awesome. And if there is a modern example, she's probably it.
Yeah, I think, I think you and I always subscribe to the thing of you're not the next Mean Gene, you're the first Renee Paquette, because she's great at her job. Yeah. I'd say she's probably the third coming of Mean Gene, because the second would be Alex Marvez. So, there is levels to this game.
Alex Marvez.
Nice to see him back on Dynamite.
I like Alex because, like, his commentary, like, remember when he did commentary? Like, it just wasn't his forte. Like, it's a really difficult job, and it didn't click with him. But now he's kind of found his groove as, like, the goofy interview guy.
The best one was when one of the greatest moments in AEW history, I'll go to my grave defending this, is the moment where he held the microphone and got super kicked by
yeah. Like, he's
sorry, Alex, if you want
He's found his groove, man. Yeah. I understand, like, he's a big sports guy.
He is a big sports guy, yeah.
So, yeah, good dude.
Final question today comes from Travis Zachary. I suppose it's less a question, more of a request. Because Travis says, in honor of it being opposite day, I want to hear Tony Khan sell me on WrestleMania. P.S. How many days away is it? No. Travis, you're in luck. Because... It's 9 days away, Travis! 9 days till WrestleMania! And you know what? F it! One day WrestleMania again! We're just gonna run it! It's gonna be 12 hours! No sleep for anyone! No sleep till, not Brooklyn, Los Angeles! All the great matches! We've got a great show to you tonight! Sorry, Ben Roy.
Okay.
But yeah, it sounds like Tony Khan's really excited for WrestleMania, which goes down in 9 days.
Sounds like he's pretty excited.
Wale Mania goes down in a week exactly, if I'm not mistaken. Sir. Still get your tickets, go and check it out. It's a great night. Let's move on to today's and finally, rapidly after that, with something that I meant to do yesterday, something we have... I said this yesterday. This is, one of the happiest moments I've seen in wrestling this year. And such a weird sort of converging...
Of worlds.
Yeah, of things and people that we love. Hacksaw Jim Duggan is a lovely man. That is a universally accepted thing. He's one of the good guys, isn't he, Jim?
Absolutely.
And, he's just, he's not wrestling, obviously, as much as he used to. He's just living his best life. And apparently, that includes, it was as a result of going to Comic-Con, of course. So, shout out if you went to Scotland's Comic-Con.
In Aberdeen.
And you got to see him. Yeah, he's gone to Aberdeen with his missus. And, more specifically, Andy, for you, he went to Aberdeen FC.
Yeah, he did. He went to the home of football, Pittodrie.
Look at him there in his little...
Look at that, man.
Shirt, Hacksaw one.
I love this because he was on, like, he was just taking pleasure in, like, the simple joys of how he was riding a double-decker bus.
Oh, go on his Twitter if you... what is it? Just... It is, wasn't it? Yeah.
He was on Union Street.
At Real Hacksaw Jim.
Yeah.
Genuinely, if you need to smile today, go on it and watch some of the videos he shot when he was in Aberdeen. His joy at just seeing the double-decker bus and his childlike wonder, like you said, of sitting on the front row of the top deck, pretending like he's driving.
Just awesome. Like, this is like my world, sort of wrestling, Aberdeen Football Club, and the city of Aberdeen. The only way this could have made it more me is if he showed up at a Madball show or something.
Yeah.
Like, this was so awesome. I love Jim Duggan. He beat cancer like a few months ago.
Oh,
so
God.
Like, he's had his health concerns and all of that stuff. So it's cool to see him just out there shredding it in Aberdeen, the greatest city on earth. If you've never been, you suck.
We are going to go one day. We are going to go on a WhatCulture trip.
I'm from there, baby.
Oh, take me to see the sights. Like the double-decker buses.
Yeah, and the grey building.
Yes, love you, Jim Duggan. Glad you had a great time. And go and check out all the videos on his Twitter and go and follow him because he's just a nice bloke.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Oh, that's a good point, actually. Maybe just enough time, depending on when this video goes out, to send us a last-minute WrestleMania-based question for our Q&A podcast this afternoon.
Ooh.
Send it to me, at Adam Wilborn on Twitter. You can also follow Andy Murray on Twitter at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Hoop42, the Quiet Hoop.
Okay. And we're going to be reviewing Dynamite as well as doing that podcast later on today. So WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, for that one. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray, to Rey Mysterio's Eye, to Jim Duggan. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.